19 years have passed since brothers Konstantinos and Ioannis have abandoned Constantinople and sailed for the New World, where a lot of adventures have met them. They've established a thriving colony and created a brand new way of life for the Byzantine, or better yet, Roman people, encountering new threats and new friends alike. What will the future of the Roman Empire be, and what new threats will they encounter in the New World? Short on manpower, with only 1,000 available manpower, an economy that is slightly failing, the Romans need to look for new opportunities, and they need to fix their economy through conquest. If there's one thing the Romans have done historically extremely well, that is definitely conquering their neighbors. To the north, the people of Helluland are at war with a mysterious new nation called the Innu, who are actually winning against Helluland, so we will keep a close eye on the development of this war, as it might have a long-lasting impact on our own country. Theophilos II, a great engineer in the empire, has taken an interest in the gunsmithing, and because of his efforts, we've actually managed to increase the power of our armies, making them a formidable threat against the barbarian scum. Despite having a lot of loans, we're still gonna take a few extra loans, and we're going to use these loans to build another temple in the province of Pythagora, fulfilling one of our estate's missions and increasing our economy slightly in the process. After recently re-establishing the Hellenistic faith in our country and reconnecting with our ancient origins, it is time that we establish the High Priesthood, a position that offers us extra missionaries and makes it easier to convert the heathen provinces of this savage land. By imperial decree, due to the shortage of manpower, the emperor has decided to establish the Elysian Marines. After an entire generation of living in this new world, the Elysian people, or the Roman people, have learned how to deal with the treacherous coastlines and the lands around this area. Plus, with the Elysian Marine Corps, we now can compensate for the lack of manpower and use our sailors to pacify the lands. We've also established an alliance with one of the local tribes, and we've also decided to send out heralds around the local tribes. Sadly, not everybody is on board with our policy, and the Wenru tribe will soon see that that is actually a mistake. You don't say no to Rome. That's how it goes, okay? With the advent of the new year, it is time for the Hetareideia, which is a celebration in the name of Zeus, the almighty god. We've got 4 options here. We can get some unjustified demands bonus, or we can change our main deity to Zeus. Right now we have it set to Poseidon, which offers us extra global settlers increase, so we're going to keep it as Poseidon. We also can get the option of increasing our leaders' military or diplomatic skill, but it's going to come at a cost. Or we can just get some tax modifier until the end of our current emperor. Some of our most experienced Varangian warriors have requested permission to return to their homelands. Tired of constant battle, they feel that they've earned their keep and fulfilled their pledge to the Basileus. Shall we let them go back home and gain some prestige from this, as well as better relations with Markland, or shall we keep them here against their will and have them continue to fight in the armies? I think they've earned their keep. I am a man of my word. If I promise my Varangians they can go home after their service is done, then that's what they shall do. Despite not having embraced Renaissance, I think it is time that we advance our technologies and that we reform our army system, changing from the old Roman levy infantry to the new Pronoia infantry, which are basically semi-professional soldiers, more capable of taking care of the empire and more suited to the current situations. Idea-wise, we really just have one idea set that we can go for here. Luckily, the first idea also unlocks a colonist, and then as we go along, we get extra settlers increase, dev cost reduction, even more colonists and colonist chance, as well as institution spread and governing capacity. So this is definitely purposefully tailored for our situation. It is time to recruit a Conquistador, which essentially is a brave general that will explore this vile new land for us and find out where the Albanians went to, because I'm really curious to see where exactly my former subjects have landed. Well, would you look at that, there was a native tribe right next to us. Who would have thought with all of that fog of war? Not me, that's for sure. Well, it is time to get some relations with these boys here. And by relations, I really just mean a spy network. I mean, that is how you get relations, right? That's how people normally do it. You spy on them first. Because it's pretty trendy in the Roman Empire. Just saying. I'm just saying, okay? These signs of Roman industry are clear all around the place. As you can see, aqueducts completely revamped the landscape and offer increased production tax, manpower, and even lower the development cost. Because we all know clean, affordable water helps cities grow. Don't they, South Africa? Don't they? I'm looking at you, yeah. Arriving after a 2-year trip across the Great Ocean, the famous explorer Lightning Houndurus, a noble Roman lord, has joined us and has volunteered to explore the lands around our coastline, with which he is quite familiar. And he literally just explored the province of Manhattan. Okay, well, apparently he didn't go many places on his trip here, did he? Our missionaries have been successful, and one of our heralds has reached the lands of the Atignulugadaganahakale. Whew. That's a mouthful. And they have converted to Hellenism, even though it's not officially adopted by their government. It is the religion that most of their people follow, and we will make sure that their government's gonna adopt that religion too. A herald from the Albanian lands has just arrived. The brother of Skanderborg, Skanderborg, has just joined us as a general. What the hell? What are you doing, Skanderborg? Stop it! Why are you attacking the natives? What's wrong with you? Oh my god, you literally wiped out their entire population. Radical sympathizers are now revolting against our country because we've attacked a peaceful native tribe. And even worse, there's a big war in the north between the two colonies of Norse. Let's just hope that this war is not gonna spread all the way into the south. It seems like Skanderborg just conquered these peaceful people of Tuscarora. You know what? We might as well, since they've already been conquered by him, integrate them into the empire. Lacking a direct land route, the Vikings of Markland invaded Helluland province of Hjalkvlit. The defending forces of Helluland pursued the opponent back to Stromfjord, capturing the port and surrounding the provinces in the process. This is great news for us because Helluland is our ally at the end of the day, so it is good to see that they are winning the war in the north. A massive battle between Markland and Helluland, resulting in a Helluland victory, has occurred at Skaniorg. After a month of bloody siege, Helluland forces managed to overwhelm the defenders of Lisbudir and siege the city, ending the Northern War, which means that Helluland now has complete domination over the entirety of the north coast, and since they are our allies, we've got nothing to fear from them. Oh, what's happening here? Vinland is formed. Okay, so apparently Helluland and Markland have actually turned into the nation of Vinland, and they've claimed all of the northern provinces as their own. I'm actually okay with that. I don't have any interest going into their lands as long as they stay away from my lands. We managed to get an alliance with 3 of the barbarian tribes, and we got good relations with them as well, which means we can do a Roman diplomacy that lowers the time until we can do the True Nation mission that we really need to do as soon as possible. Scholars have discovered a Hellenistic book dating back to before the destruction of Carthage, depicting the famous grand harbor of Carthage known as Kothon, a true marvel of the ancient world, and they found a way to actually build this amazing harbor. Why don't we try and replicate it in our own city of Elysia? A young noble of the imperial house by the name of Belisarios Palaiologos has approached the court. He's been building up his own small retinue and intends to go on a personal adventure into the south of these lands, where he heard rumors of barbarians living in actual cities of gold ruled by vengeful gods. Whether we agreed to it or not, he is gonna go into the south, so I think it's best we give him our blessing and see what he discovers in these southern lands for the empire. After a long trip, Belisarius and his men have reached what he likes to call Laconia and establishes the city of New Sparta after the ancient city of legend. He renamed himself Leonidas, and he seeks to mimic what that hero did, conquering all the barbarians in Laconia. We can either play as Spartacon or we can get a 50 years separation deal with them. I'm gonna go for the separation deal. So apparently they have one city in the province of Laconia, Hellenic, Greek, and they have a few cores around them as well. A brand new mission tree, a brand new military unit tech tree, and a brand new adventure. If you guys would like to see what happens if you play as Spartacon, let me know in the comments below. If we get 10,000 likes, we will also write down Leonidas' story in a separate video. Over the past years, the Viking warriors that we know as the Varangian Guard have asserted quite a little bit of influence over our nation, and this influence makes way for us establishing the Varangian Order officially. But in order to get the Varangian Order established, we need to have one of these colonies here. Our explorers have come with the idea to explore the Atlantic a little bit more. Perhaps we can even establish an outpost somewhere in the Atlantic. As one of our ship captains comes into contact with a familiar looking people on an island in the Atlantic, stories gathered from these people seem that this used to be a part of a great expedition and they were stranded after a storm. Needless to say, everybody in Elysia knows the stories of our past, and news spread quickly that we found the lost ship. The people of Lanthanopolis are descendants from that one supply ship that we lost during the storm when we arrived into the New World. As soon as our ships land on the island, the people of Lanthanopolis greet us with great joy. They've established a sustainable economy based around fishing and goat herding, but it does seem like they still follow Christianity. We've since switched over to Hellenism, and it is time that we re-embrace and we re-establish our control over these people as they are a part of our empire. As such, Mikrakrit becomes a colony and vassal of our greater nation, and they have converted to Hellenism, the one true faith of this world. The king is dead. Long live the new king, who surprisingly is also called Konstantinos because obviously there was a shortage of names back in the Byzantine times, and they just called them all Konstantinos. As we continue to explore this new world, we stumble upon a great city, the city of Cahokia, which is the marvel of the people of Cahokia. Cahokia also might be a little bit of a rival to us, so we need to be careful with their expansion. We don't want them to get too big for their own good. It's also time to establish the NAFTA trade, which means we'll be able to get Greek fire back on the table. They refuse our trade. Oh no, this is unbelievable. We're gonna subjugate the nation of Erie so we can get our trade of NAFTA. We do need to have an adjacent colony in order to attack them, so we're gonna focus on colonizing this adjacent province after we finish our Varangian colony here. Let's also get an alliance with Sparta and see how they're doing. Looks like they're faring pretty well actually. They've already expanded into at least 3 provinces that I can see. With the lands of Caesarea under our control, we can found the Varangian Order. Let's settle them in the province of Atlapolis, and they have become our first Claysura, which is a special type of subject. Pretty awesome to see Varangian as a culture unto itself. Makes sense for Varangians to be a part of the same group as the Norse. Apparently this type of subject we cannot integrate, so I suspect it is a sort of a tributary system. Our colonial expansion has reached the tribe of Erie that has the NAFTA that we're interested in, so we're going to subjugate them. We're also going to call in Vinland to help us out as they are a part of a greater coalition, so we have to fight all of the natives here, which means we're going to need all the help that we can get. The first great war of the New World has started, essentially. Boom, we committed Stacken Vapenicum. We're actually going to focus on their troops first. We want to kill off their units before we siege anything down. Wow, the Varangian Order just recruited the Free Company. We're winning left and right every single battle. We have considerably better units than they ever will have. It's just a problem of numbers because they do have a lot of numbers. On the bright side though, I actually can integrate all of the bordering provinces into my empire. I don't really care about getting extra aggressive expansion from taking these lands. land. It is, after all, aggressive expansion with the barbarians, and they're not real countries, are they? Ah, I love the smell of burning villages in the morning. Oh, how they fall one by one. I actually just realized that the Norse are producing Norse mead. Let me check the goods map mode. Is there any other thing that's new around here? It would have seemed that Vinos is the only province that produces Norse mead. Vinland just peaced out, leaving us alone against the barbarian threats that are ravaging our coastline and basically the entirety of our country here. Let's actually start piecing out the barbarians in that case. We don't want to lose too much of our prosperity in our lands, so it's better to just piece them out now whilst we can. The Onondaga that controlled the majority of these natives also controlled the provinces adjacent to us. It would take a little bit longer to take control of that, so we're just going to take the two provinces and piece them out so we can make peace with the main war target, which is Erie, force religion, a Roman vassal, and that is pretty much it. And we finally also have the source of the NAFTA, since we have the tribe of Erie, giving us Greek fire once more until the end of the game. Having fully embraced Renaissance in our country, we managed to advance our technology so that now we even have cannons, a special type of military equipment. We're going to get a few cannons in our army, and we're going to put these to good use in future expansion around our Elysian heartlands. Essentially, I'm saying cannon go burr. I think that Spartacon's been at war since the moment that they landed in Laconia here. I have not seen them at peace so far. January 1500, it's been over 50 years since we've come to these new lands, and by developing our institutions from the most basic of institutions to the most advanced, we now can establish a senatorial empire and call ourselves a true nation rather than just a people in a foreign land. Our first issue of the Senate is to get more settlers towards establishing new colonies for our empire, and we'll make sure that this actually passes soon to take full advantage of it. A courier arrives from Lanthanopolis speaking of an expedition that the Cretans have established, exploring the southern lands. Upon hearing of this, the Senate is in disarray. There's talks of directly getting control over Micracrete, or perhaps it's better to just let them continue expanding into the south and reintegrating them properly later on in the Elysian Empire. I believe it is better if they do colonize the south for us. Let them establish their own colonial enterprises. We also have re-established diplomatic connections with the Albanians of Skanderberg. They have colonized an entire island for themselves and are thriving in these new lands. Perhaps it is time to get an alliance with them once more, so we should start improving our relations. With control over the sea passage to our capital, it is time to cement this domination and build a long-lasting testament to our glory. These statues of Elysia have been born, reminiscent of the old Colossus of Rhodes ×2, or the statues from the Lord of the Rings, whatever you want to call it, it's fine. It cost us 700 ducats, so it is time to actually get some loans. Not to worry, our economy is doing quite well considering our situation, so we should be able to pay these loans off in no time. We also can establish the Alexandrian Library in New Alexandria. Since we've built the new Colossus of Rhodes here, we can also commission the Grand Kothon, which is a replica of the old Carthaginian harbor. When it gets fully upgraded, the Grand Kothon will offer us 1 merchant, trade range, ship trade power, and marine force limit, as well as some other provincial modifiers like 2,000 sailors and naval force limit plus 20. Okay, that is massive. 20 naval force limit from one province? After decades of mixing in with the local population, the few Spartan Greeks that arrived in Laconia no longer make up the predominant strata of their society, replaced by the Apogonoi, which are essentially a mixture of the local population with the sprinkle of actual Greeks. This is actually a reference, by the way, to the historical Sparta. The Spartans, when they arrived to the city of Sparta, they arrived as conquerors, and only those descended from the Spartans could be Spartans themselves. The majority of the population in the city of Sparta in antiquity were actually not Spartans, but various classes of conquered people or even slaves, which eventually actually led to the downfall of Sparta because they could not keep up with the manpower that other neighboring countries had. That is massively oversimplifying it, by the way, so don't think too much about it. In ancient times, emperors were turned into into living gods, and some in the empire are saying that we should be doing the same. However, I do not think I am a god, nor do I believe anybody else is gonna believe that, so we're not gonna go for that. As a token of our newfound alliance, the Albanians have sent the grandkid of Skanderberg himself, who is for some reason also named Skanderborg, like Skanderberg's brother. Feels weird, man. Let's hope that Skanderborg... Wait, what are you doing, Skanderborg? Don't do it! Oh no, guys, he's a warmonger. I was gonna say, let's hope he's not gonna attack natives randomly, but I was wrong. We've also taken some extra loans to invest in our country, build up some workshops to improve our economy, and we'll pay off these loans in the long run. Loans are a part of the game after all. By devoting the temple in our capital to Ares, the god of war, we can get a grand temple in there, which we would otherwise have to wait for at least 100 years more before we could get it. And we also get a permanent modifier that offers 25% more manpower and prestige from battles, as well as leaders without upkeep +1. I mean, since this guy attacked the natives, we might as well just convert them to our religion since we're doing all of this stuff, right? And for these tribes, I guess we can actually include them in our empire now. They will be happier. I have it on a good source that they will be happier if they are a part of us. We have an established army, a good legal system, but how are we gonna entertain our people? I think it's time we build a hippodrome. By hiring a natural scientist that is skill level 3, we can also found the new Alexandrian libraries in New Alexandria, which at maximum upgrade will give us -10 tech cost, -20 advisor cost, and +25 institution spread, as well as paper production in New Alexandria. It is going to be cheap to first off upgrade it the first 2 levels, but the 3rd level is ridiculously expensive. Croton is level 2, but for level 3 is 5,000 ducats. We got a couple more loans, so we can now upgrade the Alexandrian library as well. Let's use some manpower as well to speed this up. In the old world, we used to assimilate Slavs, Armenians, and various cultures into our empire and call them all Romans. In the new world, the barbarians outnumber us significantly, and because of that, the core Greek population that arrived here, together with the mixture of barbarians, have formed the new culture of Elysian, part barbarian, part Roman, 100% Chad though, and we have become the country of Elysia, a paradise for both barbarians and Romans. We can also usher in a new age now, and we can start assembling a force to invade the old remnants of the Byzantine Empire and bring them back into the fold, conquering the old world and driving out the old Turkish menace. We also have the Hippodrome established in the capital, and we're going to start upgrading it. Level 3 is going to offer us cav cost -10% and cav combat ability +10, so this definitely will improve the overall spirits of the Elysian people. We can also reform the Hellenistic faith. We have 3 options. We can adopt the pantheon of Zeus, Poseidon, or Apollo. Each of them come with their minor deities that we can select, or we can just stick with the one that we have right now. The reality is that all 3 of these are amazingly overpowered. Poseidon's going to help us out in the early game because we get the settler increase, but it's not going to be as useful as we go along in the game. Apollo's the most powerful out of all of them. Idea cost, advisor cost reduction, core creation cost reduction, good produce, shock damage, monarch lifespan, and so on is just insane, whilst Zeus is more revolving around playing toll and having a strong army. I think I'm going to go with Apollo just for the long-term benefits that it offers. The nation of Huron also appeared. Apparently they've confederated into a bigger nation. I am not really happy with this, so I'm gonna keep a close eye on them. It seems like the Spartans also revolutionized their religion, and they've made their founder Leonidas a living god. We also can do Wonders of Elysium until the end of the game, -20 construction cost reduction, because we have the Hippodrome, the Library of Alexandria, and the Grand Kothon built. With the help of ancient sources, Pythias has returned after an uneventful voyage. He arrives off the coast of what our ancestors thought to be the end of the world, Ireland. And now we have knowledge of what's happening in Europe, so let's check it out. I'm curious to see. Okay, we have Spain. That is pretty standard. We have France as well. England basically did the thing that England always does. And oh, schnapps. We have Genoa, a massive nation here. Mantua also. And apparently Aquileia broke away. I'm assuming somebody destroyed Venice and then everybody else took advantage of that. Bosnia also is still around. Crete is an independent nation. Definitely Venice was destroyed recently. Anhalt, what? I've never seen Anhalt get this big in any freaking game. Oh, dude, are you serious? My beloved Brandenburg is a one province minor now. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm really not sure how I feel about this. I think this is the bad outcome. This is the bad ending, guys. Burgundy still lives, and Marie de Bourgogne is in charge, which means that the inheritance did not go to either Austria or France. The Ottomans carved their way into the Polish lands, though, so that's scary to say the least, because we're gonna have to fight these boyos ourselves. Muscovy is absolutely massive, as is Nogai, apparently. With us rediscovering Europe, it seems that our demise has had a large impact on the culture of Europe, especially the Portuguese. The Portuguese and the Castilians have established some outposts by the coast of West Africa, and they've avoided exploring the New World because of what we told them. But now that they've seen that there is a new world, they definitely are pissed with us, and they will for sure start exploring and getting their own colonies in the New World. With the rediscovery of Europe, we realized that we need to reform our armies to keep up with the Europeans, either implement the old Byzantine model, or we can invest in firearms and hire advisors to help our troops get better at using them. A third option would also be to invent the Greek fire troops, which are essentially flamethrowers, way more expensive than regular units, but we get a massive boost to our fire damage. So let's go for the Greek fire. This is available because of our NAFTA trade that we reestablished. And look at this, guys. We got literally troops with flamethrowers moving around the map. This has got to be the best sprite I've ever seen in this game. It's been over 70 years since we left our homeland in Constantinople, and we've established a brand new home for ourselves in the New World, but now it is time to assemble an invasion force and take back what is rightfully ours, and head on back over to the motherland of the old world. If you guys want to see what happens, and you want to see Elysium take back Constantinople, then let's get 15,000 likes on this video for the last part of this saga. Also, check out this awesome video up next, and I really want to thank all my patrons, channel members, and Twitch subscribers for the amazing support you guys have been offering. I really wouldn't be able to maintain this channel without all of your help.